This is the Mobile Home Park Lawyer Podcast with Ferd. If you're looking to generate wealth and passive income in the lucrative world of mobile home parks, you're in the right place. You'll discover solutions to the common legal and operational pitfalls and how to optimize parks to maximize income. Your host is in the trenches. He's a real estate attorney, financial analyst, and mobile home park investor and operator. Now, let's turn it over to Ferd.
Welcome back, Mobile Home Park Nation. I'm here today to teach you how to make more money with your existing mobile home park. Obviously, if you can buy more and more parks, there's opportunities to make more money, but sometimes it's challenging to find the new park. And regardless of that, it's better to just start with improving the operations and improving the profitability at your existing park. At my company, we obsess on the profit. We don't really care as much about what the top line of gross revenue looks like. We care about the bottom line profitability. And the top line grows indirectly when you're focused on profit. So really, real quick, I want to jump into the formula, if you will, for profit. First, you start with your prospects or your leads, and you multiply that times your conversion rate. That gives you your customers. And customers times price times frequency times your profitability margin, that equals your profit. That's how much money you put in your pocket. That's how much money you can use to put your kids through school, buy that new car, invest in that next asset. Got to keep a continual focus on profit. So today I'm going to tell you 12 ways to make your mobile home park more profitable. Number one, increase the rent. That's pretty obvious part of the game. You got to do that within reason, to be reasonable to your tenants, but also just strategically to not scare people away, but do a regular annual rent increase. Number two is water sewer bill back. If you're currently paying the water and sewer, you need to find a way to bill the water back. Generally, this is done by sub-metering and measuring it on a monthly basis and billing it back to the tenants. You got to be careful here to follow all your local and state laws, but it's a great way to increase profitability. Number three, screen your tenants better. I know some people out there that they just say, I do the eyeball test. I'm a real good judge of character. That's a bad idea. We use a company called Landlord Tenant Services. It takes a little longer than the automatic, credit check, but they do a great job. They call not just the current landlord, but the prior 2 and 3 landlords. They call the employer. They verify income, etc. Because it's a lot better to not let in the bad tenant than miss out on a security deposit or miss out on a first month's rent than to let in the wrong tenant and later have to deal with collection issues and eviction issues. Number 4, advertise better. Not necessarily more expensively, but advertise better than the competition. Facebook Marketplace is a great resource for this. Have a Facebook page, have a website, get stuff on Craigslist, MHBay, other sources out there, but be aggressive on your ads and be responsive. Tenants love responsiveness. Most people don't call anymore. They text or they Facebook message. Number 5, fill vacant lots. This is one of the best ways to increase profitability. A vacant lot is worth 0. It's actually worth less than 0 because you got to mow the grass. Filling that lot is an easy way. It's not easy, but it's an easy way to increase profitability from a formulaic standpoint. There's a lot of work involved, but filling vacant lots is one of my main strategies on any mobile home park project I tackle. Number 6, collect late fees. I see lots of people that they have late fees provisions in their lease, and they don't collect them. They train their tenants to not pay on time. I don't want to make money on late fees, frankly. I tell my tenants, I hope I make $0 in late fees, but if you're late, it's going to hurt. We typically, you got to check your state maximums. We typically have something like, free through the 5th of the month. There's a grace period. On the 6th, it's $50, and then every day it's another $10. That could, in 1 month, that's $300 late fees. That's more than the lot rent in some of my parks. It's designed to get people to pay on time, train them to pay on time. It's also not fair to not charge late fees and let people pay, 2 and 3 and 5 weeks late when somebody next door is paying on time. That's not fair to them. Number 7, charge pet fees. You want to verify with your insurance company that you can actually have pets and certain breeds of pets, but you can charge pet fees. Nobody's getting rid of Fido for $20 a month. We have a non-refundable security deposit on the park-owned homes, and we charge a pet rent anywhere from $20 to $40 a month. If you have amenities like a dog park, it's easier to do that, but pet fees are pretty common in the apartment world, so you can also put those into the formula here for the MHP world. Number 8, this is one of my favorites, is add sheds. I love having sheds in my park for a couple reasons. 1, it makes an extra $25 to $35 a month. 2, it gets the junk out of the yard into the shed. If somebody's got a shed, there's no reason to have 9 bicycles laying up against the trailer, okay? And the third reason I love sheds is your lenders will generally count that as land rent, which means you can capitalize it. When you do your cash out refinance, when you do your ultimate sale, it's going to add real value. You got a $25 shed. I mean, just doing basic math here, 25 times 12 months times 0.7, 210, divided by an 8 cap, it's another $2,600. You buy a shed at $750, you immediately increase your valuation $2,600. That's if I used a 30% expense ratio, which is how I got to 0.7. Realistically, that doesn't cost any more to have sheds, so it should be 25 times 12 months divided by an 8 cap, $3,750. Put a shed on every lot. Okay, number 9, tax protest. Now this one's can be a gamble, so sometimes you don't want to, you want to keep your head down and not piss off the tax assessor, but there's an opportunity to appeal your taxes. Another portion of taxes is not really park specific, but income taxes, you can do things like cost segregation studies, bonus depreciation. You can be a real estate professional. I'll cover these items in another episode, but pay as little taxes as you're legally required to do. Number 10, this was a new one for me in the last couple of years. Sell the tires and the axles underneath your mobile homes. Once you bring a new home in, you don't want that home to ever go away anyway. You have no need, typically, to have the tires, have the axles. Well, the guys that move mobile homes for a living, they love getting those, especially if they're brand new. You may be able to get, $20, $25 a tire, and, there's different, either a brake axle or a regular axle. Anywhere, depends on your region and who you go with, but you could get $35 to $60 per axle. Sometimes even more than that, actually. I had a deal here in Missouri where I brought in a lot of homes in 1 year. I had about $15,000. None of it was in my budget because I didn't know about this at the time. One of these guys called me. I got about $15,000 of tires and axles sitting underneath the homes. Took 1 day. Crew of guys came, pulled them out. They even pulled them out themselves. Pulled them out, put them in the truck, and gave me $15,000 cash. That's good for your budget. Your investors, if you're a syndicator, will love you if you can bring some short-term cash like that as well. Number 11, mow people's grass for a fee. Typically in our parks, we require each resident to mow their own lot. Some of them, if they're like an elderly lady or they're handicapped, we'll mow it. We'll just say it's part of the deal. We'll mow your grass for free. But for the most part, if people want us to mow their grass, we charge them. And we charge, hey, it's $20 a mow. And I say, I don't really want to mow your grass, but if you want me to, I'll do it. So someone will charge you for it. Frankly, they could get a neighbor kid to do it for cheaper. But then I get to have more control as well, and I can make the park look better. And then number 12, kind of dovetails with mowing, is you can give people fines or fees. So when I'm talking on number 11 about mowing, I'm talking about people who voluntarily in advance ask us to mow every week or 10 days whenever we mow the rest of the park and mow the common areas. But number 12 is actually forced mow, where I put a notice on your door. We put notice violations out on Fridays with red paper, kind of like the pink slip. We say, mow, $50 if you don't do it in 48 hours, which is allowed in our lease. And then if they don't mow in 48 hours, we force mow it, and we charge them $50, which is steep. And I tell them, I don't want to mow your grass. I want the park to look nice. So you gotta be somewhat reasonable on these things, and you gotta make sure you're following all your local laws. But like my template lease has, I don't even know how many, 50 different fines. If you fart, I'm fining you $50. I mean, your skirting's cracked, you got holes in your skirting, you got paint chips, you got trash in your yard. Now, I'll tell you from a business owner perspective, practically, I don't actually want to collect any fines. I just use it as more of a muscle. They're like, look, I'm trying to make this a better community for you, for your neighbors, for all of us. So let's just follow the rules. Let's just keep this place cleaned up. But, there are fines. Every month there are actual fines because some people need to learn the hard way. So I might as well, get some money for putting up with the brain damage and putting up with having to have, detrimental aesthetics in my park for the moment. So anyway, those are the 12 ways to make your park more profitable. And again, we constantly have to focus on profitability. The more profit you have, the more money you'll have also to reinvest in your community, capital expenditures, reserves, find the next deal, etc. If you're driving right now or you didn't take notes, you can go find these 12 ways to make more money in the show notes for this episode.
You've been listening to the Mobile Home Park Lawyer Podcast with Ferd Neiman. Ready to learn more? Go to www.themobilehomelawyer.com for free resources and materials to help you succeed. If you love the podcast, go to Apple Podcasts, give us your review, and subscribe today. Thank you for listening. Neither the Supreme Court of Missouri nor the Missouri Bar reviews nor approves certifying organizations or specialist designations. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.